Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to another week of Awaken and Align. I'm your host, Laura Chung, and it's another solo episode from me. I'm recording this on June 22nd as retrograde. Mercury goes direct after being in retrograde in Gemini, and clearly I still cannot speak. But what you're hearing in the background are whale sounds because I thought it would be beautiful, relaxing tone to listen to while we're in Cancer season. I really wanted to do this solo episode mostly because I know my main goal in life is to remind people of how beautiful, smart, intelligent, powerful that they are. And I just want to be a source of light and positivity and inspiration to people. And that was really hard for me to do in this last this last eclipse season that started, well, let's be honest, it started last May of 2020, but it really came to a head this past May and June when I just felt so tired and so drained and I didn't have enough energy. And then Mercury and Saturn were retrograde in pretty significant aspects in my natal chart, and Saturn's still doing something funky to my moon. So it's just like really rubbing on my mental health and my energy levels. And I want to make sure that when I'm presenting and when I'm speaking and communicating and sharing, that it's not coming from a place of fear or projection or anger. Well, anger is good, right? Anger is a catalyst for change, but I just really wanted to draw my energy back in and really do this when I felt like I had enough energy, which is so not in alignment with capitalistic views of how we should work, right? Which is the perfect theme for this full moon that's coming up on Thursday, June 24th. Because I was talking to my sister this morning, when I woke up, it was pretty cloudy and rainy here in New York. And she said, today's the perfect day to lay in bed in aircon and just watch Netflix and do nothing. And I was like, that's so absolutely right. Like we shouldn't have to work. We shouldn't need to produce and do all the time just for our survival, which is the complete opposite of Cancer energy, right? Because Cancer is all about nurturing, feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling completely enveloped with love and comfort and resourced and just all the things that you would need to feel safe and secure, because Cancer rules our fourth house, which is our house of home, our house of security, our house of nurturing the mother, family, ancestry, roots. So I find it so like, I don't know, an alignment that we were talking about that. And I just been thinking a lot about this full moon in Capricorn, and I just filmed a 3-hour YouTube video about the full moon in Capricorn. And so I hope to get it ready by Wednesday, June 23rd, so that you can watch it, because I'm going to go into depth about this full moon in Capricorn and go through each of the rising signs. I pull oracle cards and tarot cards, and I channel energies. So if you want to go deeper into what area of your life this is impacting, then make sure to watch that YouTube video. I will link my YouTube channel in the show notes. But today I just wanted to do a short episode on really just about the current energies, and also to give you an inspirational message, because Capricorn can be a very heavy energy. It's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of contraction, restriction, of, it's associated with Chronos, the god of time. It's about structure, our institutions. When people think about Saturn and when you feel into the energy of Saturn, it's not necessarily like a happy-go-lucky energy. And an opposition, which is what a full moon is in astrology, it's a tense aspect. And with the sun being in Cancer and Neptune and Jupiter being in Pisces in retrograde, it can just bring up a lot of emotions. So I talk a lot more about this again in the YouTube video, but I just wanted to give a quick rundown because it's important. The full moon in Capricorn is happening on Thursday, June 24th at 3 degrees of Capricorn and 27 minutes at 2:40 p.m. Eastern time, so adjust for your time zone. And the sun is exactly opposite the moon in Capricorn in Cancer. So just look at what houses you have Capricorn and Cancer because they're opposite axes. But again, I go through this in detail in the YouTube video. And this is really a culmination of energy that began December 26th of 2019. And this was around the time when we first heard about COVID-19, and we had a new moon solar eclipse at 4 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct Jupiter at 5 degrees of Capricorn. Saturn and Pluto were also in Capricorn. So for me, these last 18 months were just showing us what areas of our life have our structures kind of been put into question, has been activated, has been like, hey, is this really serving you for the long term of your highest timeline? And for me, this was happening in my second house of self-worth and of money and finances and of my very Capricornian way of looking at all of those themes. So it really made me question how I make money, in the way I look at money. And, you know, I used to work in private equity, which is a very Capricornian structure and institution. And it really made me even see on the collective level how we see money in general in our collective, and also the structures that have just been put into the spotlight, you know, 2020 vision. A lot of people, including myself, talked about an awakening in 2020. An awakening can be on so many different levels. It can be a spiritual understanding of oneness, that we are a part of creator, a part of the divine, or it could be an awakening of the many shadow aspects of the society that we live in, the culture that we live in, the country that we live in. And I'm an American, so a lot of the shadow aspects that I saw personally in our collective was around these old institutions, right? Saturn, that rules our bones, rules our structures, rules our skeletal system, in Capricorn, which is like old structures, old ways of thinking, and just thinking and realizing and having awakening that these structures and the bones of our society just cannot contain the diversity of our collective and all of the new ways of thinking. And they're just old, and they're bringing up these shadow aspects to be put into revision so that we can change the structures, right? Saturn, and we've been having these Saturn and Uranus squares all year. We just had one on June 14th, and we're going to have another one in December. And I really feel like this Saturn Uranus square is also being activated because Saturn rules Capricorn, and we're really dealing with the past versus the future, and having to really be in the present moment at every moment on any given day, because time just seems to be moving so quickly. It's already June 22nd of 2021. I'm like, how did that even happen? So just in general, bringing it back to divination and tarot, the devil card in the tarot is the Capricorn energy. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I am using the Wild Unknown Tarot because I love how Kim Kranz used the image of the goat in the devil card, which is the archetype that represents Capricorn, because Capricorn is the sea goat. And I know that's like really weird to think about, but it's the sea goat because the goat can traverse through very tumultuous seas, but also the mountain. And the mountain and this, you know, when you think of like hurricanes and tumultuous oceans, they can be very scary journeys. But Capricorn, the goat, the sea goat, can get through anything. It does not give up. And I don't know if you've ever seen a mountain goat go through the mountain, but they will literally climb the mountain on the smallest little pathways. And I think that is the highly activated, high vibration form of Capricorn, which is never giving up, persevering. I think of Capricorn as the energy of success, of doing whatever it takes to achieve its goals. Capricorn rules the 10th house of legacy, of career. And I know not everybody resonates with career, but whatever you want to do in this lifetime, which is the opposite sign of Cancer. And both Capricorn and Cancer are cardinal signs. Cancer starts the summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere and the winter season in the Southern Hemisphere, and Capricorn vice versa for the hemispheres and the different solstices. So Cancer is ruled by the Chariot here in the tarot, and in the Wild Unknown it's represented by this wild horse with a crescent moon on its third eye. And in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's a chariot. You know, in old times, in ancient civilizations, they used chariots to move about in, I believe, in times of victory and in times of war. And in the Rider-Waite tarot, it shows a chariot, but being pulled by two different horses. One was white and one was black. And I really believe that the horse energy, being black and white, is integrating our shadow and our light sides, our yin and our yang. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is a luminary that is reflective, that is our subconscious, that is our emotional body. It's the yin, the receptive energy, and which is opposite the sun in the sun, which is ruled by Leo, is, you know, the yang energy, our active energy, the masculine, how we show up in this world. So it's interesting that we are in Cancer season, but the solstice starts with Cancer, which is actually ruled by Leo, but the moon, we are in the temple of the moon, that we are really being asked to when we are thinking about not giving up and really looking back on the last 18 months of our lives of 2020 and of the half of 2021, what we've seen the structures of our life kind of be maybe like broken apart. Maybe the structures that we built our identity around or our lives around or our foundation around are not real, because actually we live in the 3D reality of this material realm, right? Capricorn energy, but it is temporary. We are infinite beings having this temporary experiences in our skin suits and our avatars. But what's real is our spirit, is our divinity, is the part of us that is connected to source. And so when we can tap into that energy, the emotional body, which is in the 4D, which I know everyone talks about, the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D, but their emotional body is in the astral realm. It's the part that is there always, that we tap into in our dreams, that we tap into during our meditations and our visualizations, right? That's the Cancerian part. Also, any water sign, really, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, and Jupiter and Neptune being in Pisces in retrograde is really helping us in this transit, helping us to imagine, helping us to visualize and to dream and to go into these spiritual, otherworldly realms where we can really, really tap into what we want to create, like our vision board, so that we can create in the material realm what we want to experience with this Capricorn full moon. So this Capricorn full moon really is a culmination of all of this learning that we've had to do, all of this experience, all this trauma, all these trials and tribulations that I don't even need to know who you are. I know you've gone through them because we've all gone through them collectively. And to truly heal Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces is a healing energy, so is Cancer. And I think Capricorn is really inviting us to not give up, that this is just the ending of a cycle and that the new cycle is beginning. And taking from the past and all of the things that we've learned, taking the wisdom that we've learned from it, but not necessarily bringing all of the things that we don't want to experience into the future. As I'm recording this on June 22nd, which I specifically picked this day because Mercury and Gemini went in direct. It's in a shadow. It's in, see, I can't even speak still. It's still in its shadow phase until I believe July 7th. So we're integrating all of the knowledge, the wisdom, the aha moments that we've gotten, the intuitive hits that we've gotten through Mercury being in its domicile in Gemini throughout this. I felt like this Mercury retrograde was longer than ever. And I love how a lot of these planets were in their domiciles. Mercury was in its home sign of Gemini, and Jupiter and Neptune were in their home signs of Pisces. Saturn is in its home sign of Aquarius. So a lot of these planets have a lot of power. So when Mercury goes direct, we have a lot more clarity. And Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces, the high vibrational experience, and when I say high vibrational, I just mean like the activated side of it, the part of it that is the part we want to experience, is envisioning, is dreaming, is focusing our intention and our attention into the reality we want to experience. But when we're in this shadow side of Capricorn, where we get bogged down by the trials and tribulations of our past, Saturn and Capricorn also rules our past, we might start to get into the shadow aspects of Capricorn, which is control, negative thinking, feeling like we'll never get out of this cycle. And then you also tap into the shadow aspects of Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces, which is escapism, addiction, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. So this isn't to shame anybody. We all go through those periods of our lives. I definitely went through those periods of my life where I was just like, I'm just going to Netflix and chill it for 4 days in a row. I did that a lot during the panorama last year, but I think it was actually healthy for me because otherwise I probably would have gotten myself drunk. But we all go into some kind of addictive behavior because the devil in tarot and Capricorn can also talk about addiction to working, addiction to negative beliefs, addiction to just, repeating patterns of the past. And Neptune in Pisces can also talk about escaping reality, escaping into, psychedelic drugs, whatever your drug of choice is, whether it's working, drugs, alcohol, exercising, food, smoking, whatever it is, it's a coping mechanism for not actually being in the present moment, for dealing with what is. And that is what I believe Spirit is asking us, is to be in the here and now, to be in that middle ground of Saturn and Uranus, where we're not quite done with the past, we're not quite in the future yet, we're kind of that in between where we're integrating all of the lessons that we've learned to moving towards our future collectively. Saturn and Uranus, Saturn in general is a collective energy, and it's very karmic. And what I mean by karmic is that we have to go through the lessons, we have to actually lean into what we're being called to be asked of us, and it's going to require our full participation in this to get the rewards, to reap I always get this wrong. It's reap the seeds we've sown, right? Yeah. Because Saturn is not just going to give out. It's not like Jupiter. It's not like Venus, where it's like, here you go, here's a car for you, here's money for you. Saturn requires our diligence, our dedication. But when you do that, you get the you get the fruits of your labor, which is the beautiful part about, and if you've ever met a Capricorn before, or any like sun, moon, rising, or Capricorn stelliums, people with a lot of Capricorn placements, is they're usually late bloomers. So after the age of like 35, 36, after their Saturn return, when they've experienced enough of life and they've gained wisdom where they don't need to prove themselves through material things. Again, the shadow aspects of Capricorn is that they feel like they have to prove their worthiness through working hard or with material things like money or fancy things. I know a lot of Capricorn placements who are just fancy in general because, you know, they're earth signs and they have this motto of work hard, play hard. But when you have gone through some life's challenges and life's trials, and you've gained a certain level of wisdom where you understand that actually what gives you worthiness is not your material gains or the amount of work that you do or the work that you work or anything material, but actually your perseverance and your value and what you bring to the world beyond your material things, your wisdom. And I love how this goat has the pentacle on the third eye, and this horse in the chariot card has the crescent moon in the third eye. It's like when you know your worthiness deep within yourself, when you are aligned to that worthiness with spirit, then you really don't need to prove yourself with anything material. And that is the true beauty of a highly expressed Capricorn. So this full moon in Capricorn at 3 degrees, 3 is the number of fertility, of creativity, of bringing into this material realm the intentions that you've set. And I really love this full moon, actually. I really love this because it's a full culmination of possibly a really difficult 18 months of your life, or even a year, or even 6 months. And we can celebrate with kind of like all the things that we've gone through together collectively. And if you've been listening to this podcast, if you've been in one of the circles, you've known that, like, you've realized that collectively all of us have been going through some difficult challenges in some area of our lives. I still can't get my words out. It's so frustrating because Saturn in retrograde is transiting my third house in Aquarius, and oh, it's so hard for me to get these words out. Anyway, I feel like maybe that's spirit telling me that I need to stop talking, because I've literally been talking nonstop for about 4 hours now. I've been filming all day. So basically, I just wanted to send a very positive message to everybody that whatever trials and tribulations you've gone through, you've did it, you've made it, you've learned a lot. I don't need to know you to know that. Don't give up. This is just the beginning. Rest when you need to, nurture yourself, like the Cancer energy, the sun being in Cancer, also at the 3rd degree of Cancer, which is a very fertile, very, it's a very Empress energy vibe. Remember to nurture yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your emotional body. Cancer is ruled by the moon, which is don't be so reactive about your emotions. Like, observe, take a step back, make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. And I don't know, I feel really, I know I say this all the time because Jupiter is my ruler of my chart and I'm just super optimistic, but I have really good feelings about July, August, and September. I feel like they're going to be really fun for everybody. I feel like they're going to be expansive. And because we've moved past June, which I've been saying for many, many episodes, that it's a pretty tense month of change. It's asking us to change. It's asking us to make decisions for our future. And I feel like July, August, and September are going to be a lot more flowy and more fun. At least that's how I'm taking it. I'm going to have my fun times this summer, at least the fun that I know how to have. So I think I'm going to leave that here with you. Again, oh, one last thing I wanted to mention. If you are listening to this on Wednesday, June 23rd, this is why I wanted to say this. I'm so glad I remembered. Today is the most beautiful aspect in astrology. It's considered to be the luckiest day of the year, and it is the sun in Cancer trine Jupiter in Pisces. And it's a beautiful aspect because when the sun and Jupiter have a beautiful trine aspect, it's very fortuitous. Did I say that word right? It's very lucky. So again, it being an expansive Jupiter in Pisces, which is in its home sign, and the sun being in Cancer, do something fun, do something that sets your soul on fire, do something that sets your heart on fire, do something that's really expansive, do something that energetically just makes you feel really good, because that vibration within your soul resonates outward, and then it activates your aura, where your aura becomes very expansive. So I hope that you're listening to this on Wednesday, the 23rd. But if you're listening to after, it's never too late. Just always remember that as within, so without. So when you can really tap into your heart space and do things that truly ignite the energy, the life force energy within you, that your outer realm will match that. That's the truth that I know, and I'm sticking to that. So thank you so much, you beautiful souls. I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Capricorn. Hope you have a beautiful week. We're going to have our next guest coming up next week. And I hope you nothing but abundance, love, health, and wealth. Bye.